Right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good evening. Good evening. In let's see where we are. No, huh? It's not working. Okay. Chat. Not working, huh? Okay. I guess Facebook's not live. I don't know. Can anyone? Does anyone know? I don't see anything on Facebook. Yeah. Anyway. Good morning, everyone. I mean, good evening. Sorry about that. I know that it's late for you guys, especially Europe is really, really late. So good morning, good evening. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. And let's make sure this is on. You can hear me. I hope. Yep. 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 You hear that? Yes. Everyone hears. I can't get any chats here. Am I on live? Am I on Facebook? How come there's no chats? Oops. Hmm. Hmm. Um. Anyway, hi there, everybody. This is I can see Instagram is happening as usual. Fantastic. Okay, so anyway, I'd like to get started, but I just don't know if Facebook is on. Anybody know? Does anybody know? Because I don't see anything on the chat. Is it this thing? Oh yes, it's on. Okay, cool. Thank you. Because I don't see any chats. Great. All right. Well, thank you. Anyway, so cool. Let's get started, everyone. Today's Sunday, I think, for you guys. And isn't that crazy? It's so crazy. We're always talking about clocks and times and time zones and all that sort of things. Time zones. What a concept, time zones. How could there be a time zone? How could there be time zones, right? Anyway, one thing I want to talk about is that for some reason, there's a few areas, there's a few videos I think that we put out that are become really points of contention and arguments amongst each other and everything. And I don't know what it is about cooked food, but there's it's mostly it's mostly TikTok that is the people there are pretty much uh, angry. They're mad that about cooked food, that it's poison. And listen, I want you all to stop for a moment and think about it. How could it not be poison? Let's define it before we get started on these questions, which are some really good questions. And this is all relevant to us all, to every one of us, everyone it's relevant. Okay, so what is food? How would you define food? Well, first of all, you need to know which species you're talking about, right? Yeah, and we're not. There's no way we're gonna get this. Come on. Okay. Anyway, how do you define food? How do you define food? So, food is defined really as anything that is consumed. Okay, it depends on the species, right? Right. So, food for a gorilla is very different than food for a spider. Okay, they're very different. They eat differently. They have a completely different anatomy and physiology. Okay, so that's when we're talking about food. Okay, so let's talk about food for a moment with humans. Okay, with humans, I'm going to define food, and I think you'll probably all at least accept it. I don't know. Some of you probably won't, but food is that which, when ingested, um, is able to be turned into flesh and blood. Our body is able to turn it into flesh and blood or energy. Okay, because we take in energy we produce energy in our bodies through nutrients, and and those nutrients can come in the form of liquids, solids, and gases. And basically, that's the whole phenomenal universe is liquid, solids, and gases like that, right? Okay. And that all has to do with, really, interestingly enough, has to do with temperature and speed and all that, which is why we want to check when we want to look for your thyroid function. Why do we look at your uh, basal body temperature? That's why it's so important, because your temperature is an indication of the uh, the speed of the molecules in your body, right? In essence, just as an aside, your immune cells are functioning best at 36 at 40.5 centigrade, or about 104, 103.5, 104 Fahrenheit. Why? Because all the enzymes that are in those cells are activated around that cell. I mean, that's their optimal functioning. All right, that's kind of the way it is. Science is pretty amazing uh, when you realize how divine it is. If you realize that science is divine, I mean, what we call science is really our perspective, our view of reality. And reality is like, wow. Yeah, it's wow. Yeah. So, anyway, food is that which you ingest and it becomes flesh and blood. So, therefore, poison would be that which, when you ingest, you cannot. You cannot turn it into flesh and blood, number one. Uh, but instead, it can cause and will cause damage to your organism. And therefore, it must be eliminated. So, with that perspective, we notice that all things that we put into our bodies have both of those. All right. So, an apple, even a beautiful, perfect, organic apple, there's going to be some portion of it which you cannot assimilate, which has to come out, and it'll come out. There'll be a part of it that comes out. All right. One of the pure, I mean, the pure ones that come in are usually in water and oxygen. Okay, they're not eliminated until they get metabolized. Okay, but same thing with the foods. So anyway, now all creatures exist. I'm just going over this because there's still to this day. You guys are talking about it, and I don't understand it. Uh, uh, I'll give a. I need to give a complete lecture on it, but I mean, it's all science. I mean, it's all been proven. It's all obvious. So anyway, so then I get questions, bizarre questions like, well, then how am I going to eat chicken? How am I going to eat potatoes? How am I going to eat steak? Well, first of all, it's not steak. It's dead cow. It's cow flesh. How are you going to eat the cow corpse? Well, if you don't like it the way it looks, if when you look at when you see a dead cow, if it doesn't look appetizing to you, if you don't feel like getting down like your dog would, your cat would, smelling it and eating it, it's probably not for you. However, if you take it, you cut it up, and you slice it up, and you fry it, and you put A1 steak sauce on it, or whatever you put on it, okay? Whatever you put on it. If you're in Thailand, you're going to put chili on it, whatever you're going to do, and you come and you dip it in and you got your little finger up, and you're eating very daintily and very cool and very civilized. You're eating a piece of corpse that you've made delicious. Now, so if you can eat it, if you eat it plain, just eat the animal. Eat the animal. Kill the animal, or most of you don't kill the animals, right? Most of you hire someone to kill them, and then they bring it to the market where you purchase it, right? So there's several steps removed. And that's just one thing. So anyway, what I'm saying, and then the other part of it is this. So you can't eat it in its raw condition, in its natural condition. You wouldn't. A lion will, a dog will, a raccoon will, a rat will, a bear will. They will, and a lion, tiger, leopard, all that. Okay, they will. For us, because it's against our nature. Why did I say that? Yes, I did. It's against our nature. What do? We wind up applying heat to it, and we change the name. I'm not going to call it dead cow. I want it. I'm going to call it steak. I'm not going to call it dead pig. I'm going to call it sausages. I'm going to call it bacon. I'm going to call it pork chops. I like those names better, right? Yeah. You like those things better? Yeah. So we anyway we do all that, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. When now everything is biodegradable, right? Everything that nature produces is biodegradable. If a tree dies, an animal dies, everything like that, it becomes part of the earth again. Okay, it's got internal enzymes that allow that to happen, plus all the bacteria and the funguses and the uh, insects and all that. They take all of this organic matter and they recycle it and turn it back into. In fact, most of that's done by microorganisms. Turn it back into soil, which then again becomes the plant, and then the animal eats the plant. The animal eats the plant, and the animal becomes the animal. All right, so but that's how it goes. It's called biodegradable. Well, the enzymes have again, like everything I said everything has an ultimate has an optimal pH, has an optimal um, um, temperature. Okay, the optimal temperature of our body is 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 37 degrees centigrade. Okay, so and up to 100, and then I said the white blood cells really function good at 40.5, up to maybe even 41 centigrade, and that's 104, 105 Fahrenheit. But above that, they have trouble. Then when you get up to 118 Fahrenheit or 48 or 49 centigrade, they permanently, the enzymes permanently lose their structure. Sorry, I didn't make that up. I'm not the author of nature. I am part of nature. Like you, we're all part of nature. We're all an aspect of nature. We're all earthlings. You know, the earth is apple trees. Apple, they produce apples, right? Pear trees, pear. They produce pears. And the earth peoples, and the earth elephants. Yeah, and these are the fruits of the earth. Yeah, we are part of that anyway. Endowed with the Spirit of God, endowed with the divine breath of life, the divine breath of God. And when that breath leaves you, this body will turn back to earth. Just the way it is. Just the way it is. Not made up, not an opinion. Anyway, so now that's one thing. You so if to boil water or to produce steam, you have to get up to 100 degrees centigrade, which is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Long gone, dead. Enzymes don't work anymore. So now we don't have, I don't like this. I can't see this live here. Are you guys sure I'm on Facebook? Anybody tell me? Because I don't see any chat overlay. Need help? Yeah, need help. I need help. Yeah, where's my chat? You rate this. What? Get out of here. I am. Let's see what they say. Anyway, yeah, I was going back and forth. So, okay, good. So you're good. We're good. We're good. We're there. We're good. Going back and forth. Anyway, I go on. I'm on Restream, whatever that is. Restream is supposed to allow us to do Facebook, is Facebook what? And YouTube and LinkedIn, right? So anyway, so what I wanted to say was this. So listen very carefully. It's very important. Okay, get this. Okay, so when you heat up this thing, the enzymes are dead, which means it's no longer biodegradable, right? It's no longer. Now it'll be taken over. It'll be biodegraded. Believe me. If an animal, if even a fried animal has died, is put into the ground, the insects and everything will take over. It will do it. In our body, it's a different story. Now, in our body, we eat something that has been had the enzymes removed. We steam a potato, a sweet potato, delicious. We steam it, we eat it. It no longer is there. It doesn't go through that part that's uh, um, yeah. So when we eat it, normally food, when we eat food, it goes into the upper part of our stomach and then it auto digests. And then it goes down into the lower part of the stomach where it gets more digestion. And then it goes into the small intestines and the pancreas does its job. All right. So now, but when we eat it and it's been had the enzymes removed, now none of that happens. It all requires pancreatic and stomach overwork, and they overwork for decades and decades and decades. They become enlarged, they become inefficient, and blah 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 blah. Okay, that's number one. That's if you just steam and boil, but we don't. If you fry, if you bake, if you grill, if you do anything else, what happens is that heat and the loss of moisture is a chemical reaction that produces what are called Maillard chemicals. Chefs know them very well. And yes, as one of you people pointed out on Facebook, on TikTok, that is acrylamide. Acrylamide's one of them. Is one of them, but there are other Maillard chemicals, and that's why food tastes good, smells good. That's why when you walk in the house at night, you walk into your favorite restaurant, and you smell it. Okay, it's the browning of toast. It's the burnished color of coffee. It's the color of beer, all this stuff. It's all Maillard chemicals. Okay, good. They are poison. Not all of them 100% poison. No, not all of them. No, but they are poisons. So when you produce Maillard chemicals, now do Maillard chemicals occur naturally? No. Forest fires, yes. Lightning strikes, you got a forest fire, yes. But other than that, they don't, because they require that the heat, it's so hot that the actual moisture, and there's moisture everywhere. Most of the water in our bodies, guess where? Is in our tissues? No, it's in our blood. It's in our cells. All right. So anyway, I just wanted you to make it. All right. Yeah. So it's very important. It's a very important thing to understand. You guys got to understand this. And on TikTok, people, please understand. I don't make this up because I grew up eating cooked food. What do you think I am? Yeah, huh? What do you think I am? Do you think I'm from another planet? Don't answer that. Anyway, I'm not from another planet. Kind of wish I could go to one, but I'm not from one. Anyway, the point is this: the so the cooked food is now seen by the body. It can't be used. You can't do much with it. You can get little bits of it out, but it takes a lot of work and it wipes you out. Look at somebody who's eating a dinner. Go out to dinner with some people and let them eat a regular meal, and you eat just you eat like salads, fruit. You're not going to be tired. They're going to be tired. You're not going to get sleepy. You're not going to get sleepy because it's not requiring your energy. It's producing energy. Yeah. Mm-mm. I'm not going to go into it any deeper than that right now because it's not the time to do it. What do you get for a day? What do you get for a day? What produces these chemicals? What produces heat? Heat above a certain heat takes what is called a reducing sugar and an amino acid and puts them together and produces what's called a Maillard chemical. Look it up. It's there. It's a Maillard chemical. It's what chefs learn. Chefs learn about this to make food delicious. All right. Acrylamide is a neurotoxin and a carcinogen, and it's produced in anything baked or anything, breads. Okay. So I'm just saying. And plus, I have people that come to me who are very, very sick. Not all of them are very sick, but they come and they're sick. They're sick, and what do? If they go on 100% uncooked food, what is uncooked food? It's the food that the earth produced for us humans, right? The food produced food for ants. It produced food for parrots. It produced food for caterpillars. It produced food for bears and rats, raccoons. It produced food for humans too. Food, that is nourishment that these organisms need to survive, to replenish the cells. How many cells are we replenishing? 37 million per second. We're doing that. Yeah, we're doing that. 37 million per second. Okay? So we need a good pool of nutrients. And those nutrients is stuff that can be converted. Okay, so there's nothing I don't know what to say about that. So what would be the perfect diet? Obviously, it would be eat foods that are the way Earth produced it. That's real food. That's real food. What do we do when we get a hold of something? What do we do to it? Humans, we turn it into artifact. That's what archaeologists look for. Artifact, artificial. We produce that which is artificial. God produces that which is natural and is enduring and has intelligence, its intelligence. Shall we do some questions, since that's why we got here today? Let's see. How do we get iron? How do you get iron? Iron, it comes from iron is in the earth. How does the animal get iron? Animals get iron. Oh, by the way, what does the animal eat? What do lions eat? Vegetarian. Where the vegetarian get its iron? So it gets it from the animal. Where'd that animal get it? Got it from eating the plants. So the plants pick up the iron, they pick up the magnesium, they pick up the calcium, they pick up the boron, they pick up the selenium, they pick up the you name it, magnesium. It doesn't matter. They pick it all up and they use it. They chelate it. It becomes part of their thing, part of their makeup. And then you eat the plant, and that's how you get it. But now it's bioavailable, because if you were to just pick up and eat iron, you're not going to be able to absorb it. So that's how we get it. That's how we get iron. That's how we get magnesium. That's how we get all those things. Yeah, that's it. It's pretty cool. And don't be upset about it. Be happy. Be happy that you found out the truth. And I'm not making this stuff up. Why would I make it up? How? Why would it? It's not make upable. Our root canals bad. I just let me just take 1 second with root canals. It's the only. You know what taxidermy is? Anybody know what taxidermy is? Taxidermy. Yeah, I'm going to imagine. I can't see Facebook. I wish I like Facebook's comments. I can't see them, but imagine taxidermy. You guys can see each other, so I know you're answering each other. But taxidermy is where they take they take an animal. Do you remember anybody see what was that? Psycho, the TV show Psycho, right? The kid liked being a taxidermist. They take dead animals and then they clean out their innards and then they stuff them with something and that preserves them somehow. And then they have the shell of the animal sitting there for looks. That's taxidermist. So you can go to taxidermist. If you loved your pet poodle and you wanted to keep its body and looking like they could do that. Anyway, there's things like that. Well, that's what the root canal says. Taxidermy in the mouth. They take out the blood vessels. They take out the roots, the nerves out of the root of the tooth, which is embedded in the bone of the tooth of the jaw, and then they fill it up with cement, and then they put a crown on top of it so you can still use it. Well, now that bone is dead. It doesn't have blood supply, so it doesn't have any immune cells going in there. So those immune cells can't go in there and protect it from all the microorganisms. How many microorganisms? There are billions and trillions in our mouths. The dirtiest mouths in the world are humans' mouths, dirtier than dog's mouth. When you say that's dirty as a dog, well, our mouths are dirtier because I can sew up your hand after I've cleaned it off if you got a big, deep dog bite. But if you got a big, deep human bite, I can't because you're just going to get infected. It's dirtier mouths, okay? So anyway, all that stuff goes into into those areas, and there's no immune system, so it's like party time. It's like the kids are there for the summer, and the parents went on vacation, right? So that's what happens in root canals. Now these microorganisms are just eating and mutating and becoming different things, and they're pleomorphic and all that. But as they do, they produce toxins, and since they're biological entities, these toxins are called biotoxins, and these biotoxins cause everything from what some of us call what they call ALS, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, multiple sclerosis, different kinds of neurological conditions, Lou Gehrig's disease, which is ALS, but other one, cancer. There's many different metabolic pathways that it can go down that these cause. There's probably nothing more dangerous in the world than that. Now, if you don't have a root canal, then you can have a cavitation in your mouth. And a cavitation means in the bone above the roots, there's a hole, and in there, there's microorganisms growing. Now, an empty cavitation is an empty cavitation, and it's fine. But it's, who knows if it's going to stay that way. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know how you get them because I'm not a dentist. I didn't study that because for some reason, who knows what it is, but the world decided that the mouth was not part of the body. So somehow these professions got separated, and doctors became doctors and dentists became dentists. What the heck? It's another madness, but I mean, it's been on for hundreds and hundreds of years. It's been thousands of years as dentists. So it's bizarre. I want the teeth to come back to the mouth, to the body, and be part of medical curriculum and all that sort of thing. That's what I want to see happen. So anyway, so I got 63 of you from there. That's good. I don't know if you're YouTube or your Facebook or what, but anyway, I'm glad you're all here. Thank you. Thanks for joining, you guys. Of course, I don't know what's going on with TikTok. But anyway, I just hope you guys understand about cooked food. I don't just say these things to piss you guys off. It's not what I don't want to piss anybody off. I piss so many people off without even trying. Why would I try? Yeah. I don't mean to piss people off. I'm just here to tell you guys what I found out. Hey, I've been on this journey for a long time. You guys have longer than most of you. And I found some stuff out, so I want to share it. So that's it. That's it. And I want to help people. I like that. I get off on that. That's what makes me happy, is making people better, helping people, just waking people up. If I had to be called anything, call me the waker-upper. I just like to wake people up. Yeah, I love it. No, I mean, if you're sleeping, I get in trouble for that. But anyway, so let's go to some questions. Now, I'll start with Instagram, then I'll go through each of the different places. But Instagram, someone was saying to me, "Well, that's small. Don't I have some? I have some different classes here. These might help. Here's that book I was telling you guys about. If you can see this, Nutritional Biochemistry. I don't know if you saw this. Nutritional Biochemistry. Gabby, Bassano and Gabby. It was Jonathan Wright was involved with it. And here's another Nutritional Biochemistry. But anyway, these guys are all the references in the world. All this stuff is real science. Anyway, let me change these glasses. These are for reading small things. Would love for you to add more information to the titles of your podcast so that they are easier to find. Okay, podcasts. All right, so then that's a guy named Keith who's helping me with that. I will definitely bring that up to him. And then just read that vitamin E is has superpowers when it comes to cancer. Your thoughts? Ah, well, vitamin E. Actually, what we call vitamin E is two fundamental groups of oils that plants make, substances that plants make. They're called tocopherols and tocotrienols. There's four of each: alpha, beta, delta, and epsilon, or gamma, whatever. Um, alpha, beta, delta, and gamma. Yeah, epsilon. Anyway, um, and they actually do two different things. Our body likes alpha, um, and what they do is really a powerful. It does a very very important thing. Uh, is that it blocks the propagation of lipid peroxidation. Well, what the heck is he talking about? Shit. Okay, what I'm talking about is this. Oxidation, we all know what the word oxidation is. It produces free radicals. Well, when oxidation occurs to an atom or to a molecule, it's called, you produce a free radical. But when it's happening to fats, and remember, membranes around cells are fats. Membranes around mitochondria are fats. Membranes around ribosome, membranes around the nucleus, membranes inside the cell. They're all fats, made of fats. Okay. Now, when they start to get oxidized, it's called peroxidation, lipid peroxidation. And that's dangerous because now you're going to disrupt the cell structure. Okay. So if it wasn't for vitamin E, our cells would just be getting ripped up. Okay, not only vitamin E, there's cholesterol does a very similar thing. Cholesterol is very important in that regard because it sticks in. It's kind of embedded in our cell structures, and it's kind of there, right? So our body needs it. That's why we make it. That's why it's found in all animals. It's not found in plants. It's found in animals, and it's a necessary thing. And it turns out, but in nature, one thing that's really remarkable, and everybody's got to remember this, is that nowhere in nature does something do one thing except enzymes. Enzyme, if it's a decarboxylase, it's a decarboxylase. But it may decarboxylate many different molecules. However, it's only going to do that. But hormones and other enzymes, hormones are going to be doing many, many, many different things. Okay, so and same with phytonutrients, etc. So anyway, so it blocks this propagation of lipid peroxidation, which is very, very important. Because think about something. Think about this really carefully. Everybody listen very carefully. Think about this. Let me make sure there's enough people listening. Are enough people listening? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Longevity. The length of life, the length of one's life is inversely proportional to the peroxidizability index of your mitochondrial membrane. Now I'm going to put that in English. The length of your life is absolutely 100% related to the integrity, the strength of the membranes in your mitochondria, which are the ones that produce energy. And then remember, the mitochondria come from our maternal. There's some controversy now that it can be paternal as well, but mostly maternal. It's our maternal because it's the X chromosome, but anyway, it's the strength of those. So when we look at long-lived animals, elephants and giraffes and stuff like that, they have very powerful mitochondrial membrane with well, they're biphospholipid, just like our plasma membrane around the whole cell, but they're double envelope kind of things that are very powerful. And they're made of fats. And where are they getting those fats from? What you're putting in your mouth. So if your fats, if your mitochondria are made from KFC, if your mitochondria are made from Pizza Hut, okay, and you don't feel good, you don't have any energy, and you're weak, okay. If you're 12 years old, 18 years old, 22 years old, you can do anything you want to do. 25 years old, do anything you want to do. Drink, do smoke all night, do it all night. Where do you hit 30? Where do you hit 35? Where do you hit 40? Okay. You think everyone thinks me, guy's crazy. How do I know? Because I grew up on this planet. And then I raised kids on this planet. What did I see? The same thing. I saw me living again. That's it. Kids are giving you a chance to watch, to experience life, experience the growing up that you did as a child instead of subjectively as objectively. You know, it's a kind of a weird thing, but it's really amazing. Anyway, so vitamin E. So anyway, lipids, fats. That's why I'm always saying eat fat. Eat fat. Forget all these guys. I have the greatest respect for Joel Furman. I mean, there's so many fantastic people out there that are so much smarter than me. I'm serious. I'm not just saying that. These guys are smart. I'm not that smart, and yeah, I just stick with it. But these guys are smart, and but I don't know. A lot of smart people out there, but they haven't figured out certain things that are just obvious to me. So, it's just a couple holes here and there. We all have holes. I take ibuprofen with Erdomed. I'm not sure what that is. Well, I mean, if you're taking ibuprofen, you're taking anti-inflammatories. If you're taking those for a reason, you know, it allows you to function like, bad headaches, or you got, like I recently had this problem with my deltoid. I don't know what it is, but anyway, if it's going to help you get through it, it's not going to be that big a deal. Don't take a ton of it, but when you need it, you need it. It's much better than a narcotic. Okay, much better than a narcotic. You can take, and depending on who, you can take. Some people take 800 milligrams 3-4 times a day, or 1,000 milligrams 3-4 times, whatever, But the other thing is try to get to the root. The important thing with any symptom anywhere, get to the root, find out what's causing it, get rid of that cause, and the whole thing stops. So anyway, but getting back to vitamin E, what did I say? What was that question again? Yeah. Okay. So the interesting thing about the tocopherols and tocotrienols in vitamin E, right, is that there's alpha, beta, delta, and epsilon of tocopherols. So we absorb them all. But the liver, when it plays around with it and does its thing, gets it all ready, is only excreting the alpha. The alpha seems to be the one that's really important for us as an antioxidant. Very, very important. Okay. Very, very important. I'm trying to make this there. How should I put it there? Yeah, anyway. Okay, so is that better? Okay, so now tocotrienols are a whole different story. Because now what's the difference between tocopherol and a tocotrienol? They're both vitamin E. Nothing. I mean, not nothing, but it's a molecular thing that no one needs to know except the guy that's going to do research in that area. But other than that, tocotrienol is very simple. But they're anyway. But they're different because what they do is it turns out that tocotrienols. There's been some amazing studies. I found one study was beautiful. Anyway, I can't find it, but anyway, with tocotrienols, equally as effective in killing estrogen receptor positive and negative. So triple negative breast cancer doesn't respond to much, but tocotrienols it does. And the other thing too, people think about triple negative breast cancer, they're going to respond to a lot of they call it immuno-oncology or oncoimmunology, whatever the hell they want to, however they want to put it together and sound smart. Okay, they're so smart. Oh my God, are they smart? Oh my God, these doctors are so smart. I want my son to be a doctor. Unbelievable. Being so smart because they have all these words. Well, yeah, talk to an IT guy. They're pretty smart, you know. They got a lot. Now you got a lot of words. They can do a lot of things. Talk to a good plumber. How about you? How about your house is you don't have a plumber? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What about no one start? How about people stop picking up the trash? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Okay, just a message there. Every one of us is as important as everyone else. Oh yeah. Even I'm even talking about shh, Brad Pitt and Angelina. Look, I know. No. They're gonna get paid $25 million for making a movie, and here's a person who's teaching, who's working all day long to helping people tremendously in many different ways, whatever they're doing. Sweeping. Okay, don't sweep. See what happens. Don't empty the garbage. See what happens. Okay. You think it's not important, but it's worth nothing in our society. Nothing. Why? Okay, I'm sorry to get on these things, but I can't help it. Why? Because the human race, and the reason we're going to fail again, the reason we're going down is because there are two things that lead, that motivate humans. What are they? Vanity and greed. Vanity and greed. Vanity and greed. In fact, greed is an offspring of vanity. Instead of what? What could replace those things? Love and compassion. Love and compassion. But the human race doesn't do that. Look where we're at. Look where we're at. Look what's going on. Why are we really going to continue to ask each other, why is this happening to us? Because we deserve it. Look at human history. Look at all the human history. Rape, murder, killing, pillage. When we talk about history, what is history? Any history majors? You talk about rulers and wars, not the common person. That's what the anthropologist is talking about. Hey, tocotrienols are amazing. They also are really good for helping with estrogen blocking. They're very amazing. So vitamin E, and you can get that from foods. You know, tocotrienols are in everything. Vitamin E is in there. I mean, all seeds and nuts, lots of plants and berries. Yeah, it turns out, I'm sorry to say to all those people who don't want to hear it, just sorry to say, but it turns out if you eat lots of plants, lots of seeds, lots of nuts, you're going to be healthy. And oxalates, I'm going to talk about oxalates because that really gets me upset that there's this whole big thing about oxalates. And yes, I know David Wolf. I used to really like the guy a lot. And yeah, I don't know. Whatever, him and then whoever else. What can I say? I'm just going to tell you what I find, okay? What I found, what I know. All right. I have a clinic. The one clinic, the one clinic in the U.S. has been around, but this is our 18th year. Okay, 18th year. I don't know, 100,000. I don't know how many people have come through our clinic. They all drink tons of green juice and eat lots of oxalates, and we're not seeing kidney stones. Kidney stones, oxalate, calcium oxalate, the biggest, the form of the most prominent stone. What are really factors? Acidity and dehydration. Yeah. Again, don't believe me. Don't ever believe me. Just look it up if you don't believe me. All right. Now, here's a good question. Are cravings for certain foods a sign of deficiency? I crave eggs often. Um, that's a good question. Now, um, the answer, as usual, is yes and no. Mostly no. Where do cravings come from? How does one know they have a craving? We should play. What's that music? Dun 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 dun. Okay, where do cravings come from? The mind. Therefore, it's an appetite. If you think you crave eggs, if you grew up in a culture where you never ate eggs, you couldn't crave them. If you grew up in a culture where you ate lots of, you ate tarantulas, you'd crave tarantulas. If you grew up in a culture where you ate lots of live monkey brain, you'd crave live monkey brain. It's just the way it is. Okay, so most now, it's not to say that like for example, the kids eating paint off the wall are not perhaps some sort of mineral deficiency and they're getting the lead. I don't know. That again is it's a hypothesis. It's a hypothesis. The kids are hungry. And the paint tastes good. I remember eating was it dirt or something as a kid? I didn't have any I don't think I was deficient. Who knows? I ate a typical Italian American diet. Probably deficient. Yeah. But anyway, no, I don't think so. I think most cravings are out of our minds. They come from our mind. Remember, hunger is is a set of physiological responses that result in obtaining food obtaining substances to satisfy either or and a nutrient and or energy deficit. Yeah. We grew up with it. Of course, who doesn't like and loves boiled eggs or soft-boiled eggs or scrambled eggs? As Americans, and I don't know about Europeans as much as Europeans also, definitely not in Asia. They don't think about eggs the way we do. In Asia, every country I've been to in Asia, what they would eat for dinner is the same thing they would eat for breakfast and lunch. So they don't distinguish. You know how we are, right? We for breakfast we have eggs and toast and sausage and pancakes and French toast and cereal and stuff like that, right? No, they're gonna have miso. If they're from Japan, they have miso soup and some rice and some fish. If they're Thailand, they're gonna have the same thing they had for dinner. It's just you're not, very close. So okay, so we're the only ones that are that. So really, we got to remember something that our cravings are from our upbringing. Okay, so radioactive iodine safe for thyroid cancer or just surgery best if needed? Okay, so good question. Good question. Uh, the conventional for anybody with thyroid cancer, There's medullary, there's anaplastic, there's follicular, and papillary. And the papillary and the follicular are the mildest and the most common. And of course, the recommendation of the now I want to tell you something. I mean, the medical profession is the whole AMA, all the algorithms are just so that everybody on the team can get paid. Everybody on the team can get paid. So the algorithms that they follow so that they can give you advice, because the advice did not come from the fact that they said, aha, I think this would be best for my patient. They don't think that. They don't think that. They don't think that. They don't think. They don't think. What they do is follow algorithms. If that's thinking, then yes, they think. To me, that's what you call artificial intelligence. So these machines that we have do not have artificial intelligence. They're artificial idiots. They don't know anything. If you make a mistake while you're dictating, the phone doesn't know what the hell it's talking about. Okay, these are artificial idiots, right? Why? Because they're made from who? From us. What are we? Artificial intelligence. We're not real intelligence. Real intelligence. You want to find real intelligence? You go out in the jungle and you meet some guys that grew up out there. You're going to find some real intelligence. All right. Yeah, they don't know when George Washington first smoked a joint. Nah, they don't know that. And they don't know the date of the War of 1812. Mm-hmm. And they don't know any of that, but they're more intelligent than us. What we know is, how do I say it? Irrelevant for the most part. Anyway, so what they would have us do with thyroid cancer is do surgery. And they've got all these statistics, the nonsense statistics that they have. Remember, all their statistics come from the people that do what they say, follow their rules, fall into their database. Therefore, that's where the statistics come from. They don't come from the people that don't do what they say. They don't have any data on the people who don't do what they say. But what we do know from their research is that we do know that, here's this is from ACTA Endocrinology 2018. In conclusion, iodine deficiency may be a risk factor for follicular carcinoma, follicular thyroid cancer. Maybe? No. It's like, for example, I got an idea. Here's something for you. For cooked food, okay, TikTok. Here's the thing. What were they saying that I forget. Anyway, one of the Maillard chemicals. Every animal that was exposed to it died. So what was their conclusion about humans? It may be a carcinogen. Got cancer. It may be a carcinogen for humans. Oh, because we're different, right? We're not the same. We're not the same, are we? Are we the same? Oh, 99% same DNA as a chimp. 98% same DNA as a gorilla. Yeah. We have 46 chromosomes. They have 48 chromosomes. So there's some absolutely differences, but 4-chamber heart, we have a 4-chamber heart. Dogs, 4-chamber heart, we have a 4-chamber heart. A lot of similarities between all of the life forms here. Imagine that. But the Maillard chemical is not going to, we don't know if it'll hurt us. Anyway, so while iodine supplementation has been temporarily associated with an increase in thyroid incidence, a clear cause and effect relationship is not established. Therefore, we should continue global iodination programs and educate the public as well as advocacy groups. In other words, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. Again, they don't know what they're talking about. You know what? And I get reminded every day when I talk to everybody that I talk to every day. Why do they come? If these guys knew what the hell they were doing, why would anyone ever come to me? They come to me because these guys don't know what they're doing, and they wind up saying, "I'm sorry, there's nothing else I can do. I tried everything." No, you didn't try everything. What you did was follow your algorithm. You didn't try everything. And none of these studies compare, never compare to someone who's eating raw food, healthy food, going to bed early, doing all the things that we talk about. None of it's compared to it. So, okay, so should you get, okay, radioactive iodine is the question. No. And after that, no. And then once again, no. Why no? Radioactive iodine means it's going to destroy every. So what happens to most people is they cut out the thyroid, and then they're afraid. Well, there might be a thyroid there, so let's just get this because the thyroid's going to suck up that iodine. And you got to hear what they said. I got to tell you what they said. It's shocking. It's shocking how little. I mean, how much they not only don't know, but they tell you, the public, as if it were the truth. Here's what they said. This is in a study. In fact, this is from, what is a big group? The Moffitt. No. Yeah, Moffitt Cancer Center. The scientists and clinicians in our thyroid center clinic are continually exploring new ways to increase the effectiveness of radioactive iodine therapy in destroying follicular thyroid cancer cells that remain after surgery. Our endocrinologist, specialists in hormones, and nuclear specialists offers individualized advice on how to prepare for I thought I saved that. Anyway, here's the thing that blew me away. They said that. Okay, so anyway, going back to the radioactive iodine, just to let you know, there's a small percentage of people who are going to get leukemia from the iodine. Acceptable to them, not to you, right? Not to you. Acceptable to them. But let me tell you one other thing. Here it is. So in order to produce the okay, so listen to this. This is what they think is true. And I don't even have to tell you guys. You'll know. In order to produce thyroid hormone, the thyroid gland must receive iodine, which is not naturally produced by the body. Instead, the thyroid must derive iodine from certain foods such as table salt, seafood, and dairy products. What? No. Seafood, you mean shrimp, you mean lobster, they don't have much iodine. Wakame, a seaweed, can pull out 30,000 times the concentration of iodine from the seawater to itself. You eat one wakame, you've eaten 4,000 shrimp, okay? That's not true. Now, RAI treatment takes advantage of a unique characteristic of thyroid cells, which are the only cells in the body that are capable of absorbing iron from the bloodstream. What? How can they put that on their website? How can I put that on their website? You know, I told you before, and again, if you don't believe me, look it up. The mechanism by which the thyroid picks up iodine is because on its surface it has what's called a sodium iodide transporter system, very similar to the sodium potassium system, right? The cell pulls in sodium, pushes out potassium. The cell pulls in iodine, pushes out sodium. um, the breasts during pregnancy pull in more iodine than the thyroid. Why? Because you don't do that, your child will be born mentally retarded. That's right. I mean, because it needs it from your milk. It needs iodine from your milk. It needs thyroid to make its thyroid. So for them to put that on their website is absurd. So whatever they say from then on, you forget. The answer is this: radioactive iodine. No, most people get radioactive. Now they've taken out your thyroid. They've destroyed the rest of it. You've got a good chance of getting leukemia. You're gonna have to take their thyroid medicine. They're gonna put you on some synthetic synthroid. They're rarely going to put you on synthetic T3, which is cytomel, which they should. But instead, you can take if you've already had your thyroid out. Don't worry, you can still take natural hormones. Anyway, so yeah, no. And as we talked before, when we cut something out, we actually release the minor metastases that have already occurred long time ago. We release them from being restricted from growing a blood supply, and then they grow a blood supply, and that's a big problem. So yeah. Anyway, so what was that? Yes, Armor, Westroid, I like Thyrovance because Thyrovance comes from New Zealand, where hopefully they still have organic cows and sheep. And the reason I had to start doing that is because I had a lot of patients from the Middle East who are Muslim, and Muslims won't eat pork, just like Jews won't eat pork. So they don't. It's in their religion. So sheep and cows are okay. But then I had Hindus who didn't want to have it from a cow, and Buddhists, and the Buddhists who didn't want to have it from a cow. So and we found New Zealand. It's called Thyrovance. And so it turns out that sheep are the only animal that people say it's okay, we can kill them. Anyway, so yeah, Thyrovance, you can get it there. With natural hormone that replaces levothyroxine. Levothyroxine is just T4. And remember something, you guys. T4 is not active. It has to be converted to T3. And in order to be converted to T3, there's an enzyme called deiodinase. And that enzyme requires selenium. So if you're selenium deficient, you will not be able to convert your T4 to T3, and that'll be a big problem. So the best thing to do is to get something like from now. Thyroid hormone is conserved vertically through species. So basically what a horse is making and a pig is making and a dog is making and a human is making, all pretty much the same. Very minor differences. Same with insulin. That's why when we first found insulin in 1931, what did we do? We got it from a pig, and everybody got it. Some people finally got allergic because they're allergic to whatever. But they didn't get allergic to their bacon. Thank God. All right, so let's go beyond. Come on, I know. It's, you know what? It's ridiculous. I can't get to all your questions, but I can't. I got to go to another thing besides because what time is it? Yeah. Thoughts? Okay, real quick. I said Instagram. Thoughts on ozone nasally and rectally? Rectally, fine, not nasally. You can't. The only place in the body where ozone will cause damage is when it gets into the lungs. So if you do anything nasally, you're going to wind up getting into your lungs. It's dangerous. Okay, so do I? Okay, yeah, no, it's not a matter. The question here: do you believe that if you biopsy cancer, it triggers it to grow or spread. So it's not a belief, it's a no, it's something I know. It's true. It's no, I know it. I mean, if I can let me find let me see if I can find. Whoops, no, not that. Maybe I can find for you a paper, so you can I mean, I think I saved these somewhere. Come on, what I have it under? Um, that's the problem. I don't know. I don't remember how I think, so I don't really know why where I would have put this. What a shame. But anyway, basically what it does. Oh, it's probably on the other one. Yeah. Basically, what it does is you're of no help to me. Thanks. Don't ask me if I need help again. Um, yeah, basically what it does is when you do that, like I said, uh, because of the angiogenic cytokines and chemicals produced and all that, um, so that the primary tumor can grow, it's kind of preventing it from happening elsewhere. When you do that, once you release that, you end that, then the primary tumor, then the little metastasis can grow anywhere. You don't remember how you'd think. Yeah, I don't remember how I think. In other words, if I thought at that moment that I should put this under the surgery, or should I put it under the biopsy, or should I put it under angiogenesis because it has to do with angiogenesis? That's what I mean by that. It's not that I don't remember how I think. Okay. Was that a nice question, or was that a question to? Anyway, that's why I do that, because I mean, I got to figure out how to. I got to figure out where should I put something like that. I guess I should put it under surgery, and then I got to have biopsy, and then I got other sections like that, so that it'll be easy for me to find. So I don't remember how I was thinking at the moment. Sorry. My God. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Sorry. I didn't realize that you. Okay. I apologize. I'm just. Yeah, I don't remember how I think when I think. Okay, so anyway, it's true. It's true. When I, as soon as we get this membership, man, I can't get the membership going. I can't get my book going because I don't have time. Because I have, but yeah, I need to clone myself. But what I want to do is take each of these topics and talk about them in a little bit of depth, not too much, not to bore people, but 10 minutes, 15 minutes with some research so you can look it up. Okay, and you can see it. And then you can show it to your oncologist. What brand of iodine do I recommend? The iodine I use is either iodoral or iodine or iodoral or Lugols, because they have a combination of iodine, which is molecular iodine, and iodide. Okay, remember why? Because iodide needs to be delivered in that form to mitochondria. That's why we have thyroid hormone to depolarize mitochondrial membrane to make energy. Number one, the iodine is a cofactor in the metabolism of estrogens. Very, very important. Okay, so that's how you can get more estriol than estradiol and estrone. Why do you want that? Because estriol stops cancer. Estradiol promote cancer. I know. I need a few helper. I do need a helper. I do need a helper. Okay, so let's see here. What else we have here? Here we have Where are we? Here's a new one. Okay. So now we're on. We're that was Instagram and TikTok post comments. Do you eat raw broccoli or potatoes? And potatoes, not potatoes, but broccoli. You can eat raw potatoes. Slice them up real thin, like shoestring potatoes. Put some pesto on them. Soak them for a while. Soak them in. You have to soak them in water for a while, and then put them in the refrigerator or something, so they become a little softer. But nah. What is this here? Okay, here's the question. What is this? Is regular blood donation a healthy thing to do if you have hemochromatosis? They probably won't let you donate it, but they will do what's called bloodletting. They'll take it out and throw it away. Um, and that's just because hemochroma, um, hemochromatosis is unfortunately a condition that we do inherit. Um, and if you get one from mom and dad, and you have full blown hemochromatosis, you wind up with a really high iron, high ferritin. And the big problem there is that iron is, and we've mentioned this before, iron and copper are both in a 3 plus and a 2 plus um, valence, they call it. And when they get donated an electron, which they would from vitamin C, ascorbate, they go down a notch. So the 3 plus iron, which is ferric, becomes ferrous, and in the process, donating that electron produces hydrogen peroxide. And that hydrogen peroxide is an oxidant, which is great if it's in a cancer cell because it's going to kill the cancer cell because the cancer cell cannot neutralize hydrogen peroxide because it doesn't have catalase. Well, the liver does have catalase, but it doesn't have enough to take care of all the iron that would get turned into peroxide in the liver if you had hemochromatosis. Because if you have hemochromatosis, you're not able to store it in your ferret. You're not able to get it there. It winds up getting deposited in your tissues and can cause many problems just because of that what they call the Fenton reaction, where vitamin C, which donates an electron to an iron that's in a ferric, and it becomes a ferrous producing peroxides. And okay, so my ratio is I don't have my computer. Anybody got a computer there? They have them on these computer. I mean, anybody have a so what is my ratio if I have my iron is 17, my ferritin is 41? It's like 2.1, something like that, right? You just divide the ferritin by the iron. Very low. That's good. I mean, that's a good ratio. No, it's a good ratio, but still, it's not going to be the same. It's going to be better when you get healthier, when you get your iron up, and you need to get your iron up. How do you get iron up? How do people get iron up without taking iron? Because you got to be careful with iron. Cancer needs iron. So you don't want to just take iron if you have cancer. Um, sometimes you might have to. But if you eat it, make sure you have enough hydrochloric acid in your stomach so that when you eat it, when you take non-heme iron, that means iron that doesn't come from blood. If you're a blood eater, if you eat blood, um, then people that still like animal flesh, corpse flesh, and they eat the blood of the flesh, they get what they call a rare steak. What they mean is a bloody steak. So they like the blood. Even those people, well, they'll get some iron from that, yeah, but still not enough. But it's better if you have more acid in your stomach. So, but if you don't eat, drink blood or animals, then all the more you need a good acid in your stomach. Okay, so if you don't have hydrochloric acid, you can use um, um, what do you call it? Cider vinegar, apple cider vinegar, because it's got a pH of 2.0, which is pretty good. So you get, it's very easy. You just divide the ferritin by the iron and you get the ratio. Over 600 means there's a lot of stuff going on that you don't want to be going on. So you need to take care of that main thing that's happening, and it's probably cancer. Okay, here comes some TikTok. Too confusing. Make videos longer so the right amount of copper is good. Explain how to regulate copper levels. Yeah, I'm gonna make longer videos. We're gonna for members so that we can do this so I can have the time. Um, the body kind of regulates copper itself because uh, it keeps zinc and copper in sort of a 20-to-1 ratio, like 20 times more zinc than copper. That's how it works. All right, so um, it absorbs it at that level because you only, and that's a good ratio because that's probably the ratio in which you need it. Zinc is very, very important for multiple reactions, and copper for not as many. But copper is absolutely essential for blood vessel growth, and you need new blood vessel growth because um, you're always repairing. Your body's always repairing itself, so it needs that. It needs that. Um, yeah, I gotta make the videos longer. You're right, Coolio. So um, that's why I'll do that on YouTube and then on my channel, drlodi.com. Yeah, you're right. Okay, well, here's a big question. I'm 50 and I'm having a hysterectomy hernia surgery at the same time. Also ovary removal. What natural supplement can I take to avoid hormone replacement therapy? Well, first of all, do you need a hysterectomy? Is it because you have a fibroid? If the fibroid is not causing you immense amounts of problems right now, and you're going to go through menopause very soon, sounds like it because you're going to take HRT therapy. You're going to find that the fibroid will not be as big anymore. But so I don't know if you need surgery or not. The hernia you need to repair. You can repair that. And you can take an ovary out. Why? There's some cysts on it. It's not cancer. Is it cysts? So they're going to take it out. Remember, the surgeon's motto is, when in doubt, take it out. When in doubt, take it out. I don't agree with that. Um, anyway, hormone replacement therapy can be very dangerous because in hormone replacement therapy, the synthetic hormones, they did not use the estrogens they got from the horse urine, um, which they then modulated and got patented. They didn't do that. Instead, they used they modified progesterone and turned it into what they call progestin. And they turned out retrospectively to find out that was a major cause of big problems. However, you need progesterone and estrogens to balance each other out. Therefore, what should you do? You get a biologically identical hormone replacement therapy, and it has no risk of cancer, no risk of anything, but keeping you from shriveling up into a little old ball later than earlier. Okay, it keeps you from doing that earlier than later. It keeps you from doing that. Okay, because we have all gotten older quicker, and if you're still young, you're getting older quicker because you're going to bed too late. I know it. You know it. You're not eating the right foods. You know it. I know it. So you're going to get old quickly. And right now you think everything's cool. Wait another 10 years. You're going to see what happens. Okay. Remember something very important, that the first 50 years of life are free. And the second 50 you have to earn. Problem with the first 50 is that you have to spend some of that first 50 learning how to earn that second 50. Believe me, the second 50 is not that easy to earn. I'm telling you, I'm not even halfway there yet, and it's hard. So, now, yeah, I don't know if you need that done, Julio. I would, if you could contact me, go to drlodi.com. Let's talk about it. Because one thing about surgery, it's irreversible. Natural supplements, to avoid it, you can't. You can take natural supplements like yams, and you can. There's a lot of them. Maca is very good. Yams, maca is a root. Yams. There's a lot of them. If you go to, like any really good supplement store, Sprouts has them. Whole Foods, just look under women's health, and you'll find lots of them. But they're not quite the same as replacing, because one of the things that's going to happen with menopause that can be a real problem is vaginal dryness, and that can be a real problem in terms of it's painful. It can bleed easily. It can increase urinary tract infections. It makes sex very impossible. So, the appropriate dosage to answer your question, Sean, the appropriate dosage for fenbendazole really depends on what you're doing it for. So, usually, if you're going to do a complete parasite cleanse, you would do maybe fenbendazole, ivermectin, niclosamide. One other one, maybe, I don't know, tinidazole. And just take them 3 times a day. The fenbendazole is usually 222 milligrams. Ivermectin's 12 milligrams. You just take them you take them throughout the day. You do it not for 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off. But if you have a really bad liver, you shouldn't do that. You got to be careful. You got to try to get some guidance with this. But there are usual doses that you can do. So let me know how you're doing. Sean, give me a contact. I'll let me know, because there's different protocols, and you can test for them actually. So, wow, okay, Janet, doing a lot of stuff, and it seems very confusing. I understand what supplements to take, I guess HER2 positive breast cancer. Been taking DIM. Um, Someone told you not to take it. You're on Ibrance and anastrozole. Feeling no problem, no side effects. Taking calcium, sulforaphane, D3, DIM, and melatonin. Really good start. But there's so much more and a lot of stuff you can do in terms of diet. I have them. I have that course. drlodi.com. There's a stop making cancer course. It's about 7-8 hours. It's got a lot of good information, important good information. What you're doing is really really good. There's some things you could be doing, but there's a lot of things you could be doing. And I don't know what stage you're in, or what you're if it's active, did you have surgery, did you have chemo, or all that sort of thing. But you're doing good things. So now remember the DIM. If you're eating broccoli in its raw form, you're going to be getting all of the sulforaphane and the DIM you need. Okay, if you're cooking it, you're not going to get any. So cooking is steaming, yeah, anything for it. So you're not feeling any pain, so that's good. The melatonin 50 milligrams is a really good start. You got to keep going with it. I'd go up to 100, 90, 120. Supplements you need to be taking iodine. You need to be taking and then of course work on your thyroid. You need to be taking that. Be taking the vitamin C, A, and D. C, A, and D. Very important. C, A, and D. High doses of them. 40,000 vitamin A. 20 to 30,000 of vitamin D. Check your levels. And vitamin C, you take 10 grams in 8 grams in a liter of water and sip it slowly from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay. Why didn't this know? It's too weird. All right. Yeah. All right. Let me questions. Hello here in Quebec. This is from not sure who. Carol. In Quebec, Canada. They don't allow doctors to prescribe vitamin C. If I take vitamin C in powder, do I have the same effect? Well, if you take it orally, you're going to get, and you take it enough, the way I just said, you're going to get enough to take care of your physiological requirements, but you won't get it to the level of you can't vitamin C at high level. Vitamin C has at least 4 major ways that it destroys cancer. Okay, one is where you got to get certain levels and you need high doses IV. Right, and that's the pro-oxidant effect, where it directly kills it by producing peroxide, like we said before, through the Fenton reaction. But the other ways are that it depletes all the antioxidant enzymes inside of the cancer cell. Why? Because it's picked up by the GLUT1 receptor, which it upregulates. Cancer upregulates the GLUT1 receptor, and it's picking up dihydroascorbate. Secondly, which means the cell then has to get rid of it, and by using its antioxidant enzymes. So you deplete it. The other thing it does is epigenetic mechanisms, turning off the whole cancer process. And the third thing it does is it works with the deoxygenase enzymes to block HIF-1 alpha, which is the fundamental wound healing aspect of cancer. So it's pretty miraculous stuff. But you got to at least take it that way. But if you're getting in Quebec and you can't get it, there's got to be someone. Got to be someone. I don't know. We're talking about Canada. We're talking about Trudeau. I don't know. I don't know anymore. But I don't know anymore about that. But the point is, you should get somewhere if you can. But change your diet. Go online go to drlodi.com. Get the Stop Making Cancer course. 7 or 8 hours, and just it'll help you with all sorts of stuff in terms of lifestyle. You can do a whole lot, and then if you put in fasting and cleansing and all that stuff, and then you restore your faith, you restore your faith, and learn to listen to God in your breath. Is stage 4 neuroendocrine cancer with innumerable liver metastases curable? Just right off, just right from that statement there, it's a very devastating sentence. Neuroendocrine just means that the cell it began in was a neuroendocrine cell. It doesn't mean anything different than another type of cancer. So it's not that's not a different type. It's not the biology of cancer is the biology of cancer. It's the same. But the innumerable liver metastases, now, are they small, or what's going on? Are there some big ones? Is it blocking things? Is it causing your liver enzymes to go up? Is it causing ascites? If it's not causing those problems yet, there's a lot of things you do, and you got to find out, do you have any dental stuff going on? Do you have parasite? Let's get rid of everything. Let's make sure we're doing everything. Yeah. So the answer, and curable, again, first of all, I don't use that word. Can you be restored to health? Yeah, I think you could if you got, but you got to get going. Okay. Don't listen to them anymore. They don't know what they're doing. You got to know they don't know what they're doing. Yeah, okay, good question here, Colleen. Including the forbendazole, the ivermectin, fenbendazole, and niclosamide. Took them for 6 weeks nonstop. Well, that's one way of doing it, and then you go on and off, on and off. Usually, you do cycles, so you'd be off for a couple weeks, and then you can go back on. So it's usually do 3 or 4 weeks on, 1 week off. Gotta also be taking. Hope you're taking the antifungals when you're off. But then after you've done 3 or 4 or 5 cycles, 6 cycles, and you're done with that, then I would take lower doses of ivermectin and fenbendazole, just because they are going to help prevent cancer stem cells and stuff. 12 low doses, what do I mean? 12 milligrams a day, twice a day of ivermectin. Fenbendazole, 222 milligrams a day, period. Just to keep stuff down. They kill cancer stem cells. Keep that happening after we get rid of the big deal. Okay. Okay, so here. I have a question. She has a diagnosis with stage 4 colon cancer, metastatic liver in the form of 2 tumors. The doctors there were recommending a biopsy to fine-tune chemicals for future treatment. It seems to remember months ago, you mentioned something about biopsy of tumor removal. That's true. I agree. I just think something's missing. We've got to. I'm sorry. Why don't you if you can get in touch with me again, because something's. I don't. When you do a biopsy of a tumor, you're going to cause it to spread. Yeah. Now, if that biopsy, they were talking. I know what they were talking about. They wanted to send it to Dr. Robert Nagorny, who's amazing, and Dr. Robert Nagorny will actually test it against specific. He'll test live tumor against chemotherapy. And if you test live tumor against chemotherapy, that's much more relevant than taking a blood test and doing circulating tumor cells, and which 99.9% of them are probably not going to metastasize. Cannot metastasize, so they're irrelevant. So it's really important to do it that way. But what I'm saying is that the way that Robert Nagorny does it is very special, because that way in real time that this works. But again, remember, that's just the killing part. If we haven't pulled the plug on why it's happening, we've got to pull the plug on why it's happening. If we don't stop why it's happening, we're in trouble. Okay, we're in real trouble. We gotta stop. So please get in touch with me if you can. It would be very good if we could talk again. So please go to drlodi.com and you can make an appointment. Um, okay, Sam. Sam, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, that's my opinion. My opinion is, I don't know we necessarily need to do that. So, I, but yeah, I got to talk to you. Okay, good, Pamela. So what is my opinion of receiving intravenous NID? Um, if you have follicular non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, currently in remission, at least PET scans showed no evidence of malignancy. I've heard it can cause cancer. No, 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 no. NAD plus is very good. You can also take the precursors. You can take NMN. You can take 5-amino 1Q. They're really the good things you can take as precursors. But no, it's very, very good. NAD is part of our body. It's not going to cause cancer. So don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. It's very, very good. You'll feel good after. It'll give you a lot of energy. Okay, so hi, Dr. Lodi. I was diagnosed with breast cancer in August, and I have followed the SQ1 program by Chris Warwick ever since. I am eating vegan diet, no sugar, very little carbs, lots of raw foods and fresh vegetables. I'm also taking a heap of supplements, etc., to build the immune system and maintain a more alkaline state. And I have weekly acupuncture. I've done some water fasting. And I am now underweight. However, my tumors doubled in the last 3 months. So I decided to have surgery in December and had 2 lumps removed. When I saw the surgeon a couple weeks ago, he said there were margins and that there were 7 centimeter mass of DCIS and recommended a mastectomy. What do you think? I have a lymph biopsy tomorrow to determine if there is a lymph biopsy. Okay, look it. They're going to do a lymph biopsy. What to determine? They're going to do a lymph biopsy to determine if there's any cancer in the lymph node. There better be cancer in lymph nodes because that's what your lymph nodes are there for. They're there to make that. They're there to save your life. They're there to make an immune response. They're going to they just cut, burn. That's their answer. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Okay, so it's been growing. You've been doing all this stuff. Well, you're missing something. All that stuff that Chris Warwick said is fantastic. Perfect. But we're missing something. Is it dental? Have you had root canals? Have you had extracted teeth? Do you have, let's get rid of parasites. Have you had environmental toxin exposure? How much glyphosate do you have? I mean, let's keep going. I mean, yeah. Don't go for a lymph node biopsy. Come on. That's absurd. Please don't ask the doctor why. Ask him why. Ask the doctor why God gave him lymph nodes. My God. I'm not mad at you. I'm not angry at you. It sounds that way. I'm sorry. I am completely opposed to chemo, but wonder if radiotherapy would be less harmful. No. For what? What do you want to do? Radiotherapy? Listen, for what? You had the lumps removed. You've got some margins that are not clean. Okay, big deal. So let them. Now you really have to deal with there's probably some mature cancer stem cells. How much of the margin? Let's see. Centimeter mass. 2 lumps removed. When I saw the surgeon a couple weeks ago, he said that there were margins and that I also had a 7-meter mass of DCIS. Of DCIS. And recommended a mastectomy. Listen, Miriam, ask yourself a question, or maybe you can answer it, help me understand. So he didn't know that there was a 7-centimeter mass until he took out the lump next to it or something. And then he says, "Oh my God, there was a 7 centimeter mass." That's kind of confusing to me. You really need a second opinion, and that's what I'm all about. You got to call drlodi.com, get a second, go to my second opinion, get an appointment, and give me your records, and let's have a talk about what's going on, and let's figure out what's going on. You don't just start cutting blindly and saying, "I'm going to." That's not the answer. If it were, listen, if surgery were the answer, folks, cancer would be easy, right? You just cut it out and you're done. It's not the way it works. Not the way it works. You know that. I know that. So please, yeah, don't let him. Yeah. And again, lymph node. If he's got lymph nodes in there, okay. Yeah, that's what they're doing. That's what they're there for. That's why we have lymph nodes. All right, here you said, Rich, you just told me you said you spent 3 weeks at Oasis in December. That's pretty short time. I hope, yeah, it's not people don't usually change their life in 3 weeks. It was enlightening as well as beneficial to my immediate health issues, which was biochemical recurrence of your cancer 8 years after prostatectomy. Okay, so now your PSA is starting to come up again. It's at 1.74. Prostatectomy. So your traditional doctor, he wasn't your traditional doctor. He was your conventional doctor. Traditional doctor is Chief Rolling Thunder. A traditional doctor is the kahunas on Maui, on the Big Island. A traditional doctor is a traditional Chinese, an Ayurvedic, a European shaman, a South American shaman, African. They don't deserve the word traditional. Tradition is eons. This conventional madness has been around for 100 years. Nothing. Okay, so a few weeks ago, I received an updated result from my last CT. They said one spot on my lung that had grown from 3 to 7 millimeters, and there are 3 cysts in the other lung. There are now additional spots on my spine. I need to decide if I will get immunotherapy treatment or not by tomorrow. I have read some very confusing information. Bottom line is it safe, effective procedure to fight cancer, or is it dangerous? Please share your heart and experience fighting cancer treatments. Should I get immunotherapy? P.S. Oh, David. Okay, good. I hope you got my answer. I'm glad you're on. Should you get? I saw your stuff. Yeah. Did I? That was Rich I was with before. I'm sorry. So you're extremely active, Rich. Rich, you're extremely active. You don't follow a raw diet, but you eat healthy foods. Oh, they were healthy, and then you cooked them. Is that what you mean? If I had cancer, and someone told me that if I ate the stuff that comes out of cows, cow pies. If someone told me that if I eat cow pies, it's going to help, I'd get a tent and I'd move to the pasture. That's what I don't understand, everybody. If you got cancer, whatever it takes, do it. I know a lot of you are, but a lot of you are still negotiating. Why? Why? What the hell? Come on, man, Rich. You exercise a lot. You're doing a lot of great things. You don't follow a raw diet. It's not a raw diet. It's a real diet. Why is it real? Because the earth and God made it. What humans make, you like what human makes? You like what humans make? You like what human, this is what humans make. You put it in the ground, nothing happens for thousands and tens of thousands of years. So artificial. You got to eat. You look at it, man. You want to get rid. So you're talking. Okay, you got to get rid of this, right? You got to get rid of this. You want this to go away. You want to restore your health, right? You want to restore your health, don't you? Want to restore your health completely so the PSA doesn't go up all. I mean, you had a complete prostatectomy. My God. Yeah. So you're 67. You're young, man. Come on. How many years have you eaten cooked food? 67. Okay. Would you like to eat? Would you like to keep eating another 67 years, or at least another 30 years, 40 years? Well, call me, man. You're doing lots of good stuff, working real hard, but if you're gonna eat your food, come on. The hell. All right, David. David. I think I mentioned to you. I hope I mentioned to you that these immunotherapy. You got to do everything. It's not just immunotherapies are going to save your life. It's not that way. You got to do everything. You got to eat right. You got to go to bed early. You got to move around all day. You got to eat right. You got to move around all day. You already do good, wonderful things with your life. I know that. The immunotherapies are a lot of times they're not safe. A lot of times they are. It's really hard to say. And you need to have a hot tumor. By the way, we were talking about tocotrienols before. I just want to remind you that tocotrienols really can do a very I'm not tocotrienols. We didn't get a chance to talk about ivermectin. I really want to talk about ivermectin. But the lady who asked about it, ivermectin is one of those things that can turn a cold tumor into a hot tumor. A cold tumor into a hot tumor. That's really cool. Remember, a hot tumor is a tumor surrounded by T cells. And the immunotherapy goes in there and unlocks the T cells that are blocking the whole process, called Tregs, unlocks those. And then the cells, they work really good. But if you don't have it, and triple negative breast cancer usually doesn't have it. But anyway, for David Cook, it's everything. It's not just those immunotherapies. And those immunotherapies could work. Yeah, there's confounding information. For sure, because, and it depends on many things. But for years, we had wonderful successes with prostate, with people long before there was what they're calling immunotherapy. I don't necessarily call it immunotherapy. But yeah, I mean, for me, I think I tried the immunotherapy before a while. If it seems to work and it doesn't hurt, you don't feel really bad, do it. But you got to do everything else. I'm telling you. Okay, everyone, it's so late now. It's been 2 hours. Sawadee Kap and namaste and aloha to everyone. Bye-bye.